Well, hey there folks, welcome along to the Hop House. How is everybody? You all doing okay? You alright? Give us a thumbs up. Tell you what, give us a like, share and subscribe if you've not done so already. If you just come across us, do it. This is the Hop House. We like hoppy beer, we like good house music. Got some tunes playing in the background. It's a nice soulful house. Lovely. Nice chilled stuff. Right then, we're doing another beer review though. This is the beer side of the channel. We're doing another beer review today. And you know what? We're getting crafty. Ooh, craft beer. Now you may think, what is craft beer? It's about everywhere these days. Craft beer bars are turning up left, right and centre. Craft beer shops, beer bottle shops. Even cans and bottles of the stuff in supermarkets. So what is craft beer? To be honest with you, I don't know the actual answer. I'm a fan of beer, but I'm not in the brewing industry. I'm not an expert, I don't brew my own beer. So I really don't know. My understanding, don't shoot the messenger because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I understand that craft brewing and craft brewery, craft beer is when a brewery's a bit on the smaller side and they do things a bit small scale. So you've got your big, massive corporate breweries. So you like your Carlsberg, your Heineken, Molson Coors, all these big, massive companies that have brewing sites all over the world. And a craft beer is maybe a guy down the road that brews out of his garage or on a farm. Or maybe they only have a little brewing site. Now don't get me wrong, some craft brewers have grown in size. But the idea is that they're independent. They don't belong to a bigger body that has shareholders and stockholders and on the stocks and shares market and all that kind of thing. That's kind of, they're independent. That's the word I was looking for, independent. It took me 2 minutes to get there, but that's the word I was looking for. So, we're going to go into craft beer today, and the first beer we're going to review, it's a nice start-off beer, I think, in terms of the ABV, the strength of it. So we're going up to Scotland, we're going north of the border. Apologies to any Scottish people watching, that accent was shocking. And this is the bad boy we're going to review right here. Get it on the camera so you can see. It is Loch Lomond Brewery and is their Southern Summit. It's an American pale ale. You can see it there, 4% in a 440ml can. Now this beer, I did pick up, I've had it maybe a couple of months. It was available at the Lidl Craft Beer Festival. It's also available at their website, Loch Lomond Brewery. Google them. And as you can see, this is in a can. Now a lot of craft beers are in cans, and they tend to have sort of funky labels, really weird wild colours, stuff that catches your eye. This is actually quite mellow, I have to say, for a craft beer can. But it does look like you're almost at Loch Lomond. Look at that, look, you've got the view and all the, there's a river there and some hills. Cool. So it is Loch Lomond Brewery Southern Summit, as I said. Right, let's get it into a glass. I have got for this, I've got this glass here. It is a cider glass. So old Mount cider or Moot. But it works well with the craft beers because I can swirl it around and stuff. I know what I mean anyway. Right, so let's get it open. Hopefully it doesn't like... No, that's good, it didn't froth over on me. Right, wow. Get it into the can and see what we get. So Southern Summit, so I'm guessing by that it means it's hopped by the American Hop Summit. Or something like that. For the Yorkshireman in me. Crikey, that is a terrible pour. Right, so hold that up to the, look at that. That is very cloudy and hazy. It has got a rather large head on it, which is sort of slowing down, but it is hazy. Now, the thing you'll find with a lot of craft breweries and some of the American hopped beers, especially in the craft beer market, is they are hazy. So it means they've not been refined. What do I mean by that? When you go to a pub and you order a pint of bitter these days, it's clear, it's see-through, so you can see through the other side. and it's been refined, so they put certain finings through it. It's actually something to do with fish guts. Look it up. Don't want to gross you out. But it means that it filters out all of the sediment, all of the leftover yeast. Now these sort of craft beers don't do that. They leave the sediment and the yeast in there. Some people like it, some people don't. It's a, I don't know, it's like a tasting, and it's up to you really. I've had beers with sediment in that I don't like. I've had beers with sediment in that I really do like. I think it all depends on beer to beer really. Okay, so that's what it looks like then. It is cloudy. In fact, I don't know if you'll pick it up on camera, but at the bottom I can see some bits floating about. So there probably is sediment in here, which means it's a canned condition beer. And they certainly haven't unfiltered it in the main tanks, but also in the can. Right, I'm trying to swirl it around a bit without spilling it. It's time to give it a whiff. See what we can sniff. Let's go. Now, what I tend to find, on my experience so far of craft beers, because they are the little guy, the smaller guy compared to all the corporates, is they do tend to put a lot more passion and effort and care into brewing the beer. And that really comes off in the hop content. Now, I'll be honest with you, initially I thought, craft beers, they're charging £4 or £5 for one can. It's just making like old man beer trying to be trendy, you know, with people that have like beards up at the side and stuff like that. Hipsters, that's what I'm looking for. So I initially thought that this kind of beer was for hipsters. And then I actually bought a few cans, I think from the Lidl Craft Beer Festival, one place where I had a few that really, really impressed me. Then I went to some of the big supermarkets. I've seen you know, videos and things that other people have done on YouTube, other YouTube vloggers, but it's amazing what you can pick up in a supermarket these days in terms of craft beer, it really is. Right, coming back to this then, what do I smell? It's hoppy. I can smell the hops, I can smell the fruit now. Again, what I tend to find with some of the craft beers is, when we were talking previously, we said that you get like a grapefruity sort of smell, but sometimes like a little sweet smell from the malts, like a butterscotchy smell. I'm trying to fathom whether that was a Marston's thing or... It's a lot more fruity as in tropical fruits. It smells like sunshine in a glass. So yeah, you've got grapefruit coming through. You've got a little bit of sweetness of almost a pineapple-y mango. But not a sweetness as in a butterscotchy sort of malty. I mean, obviously there's malt in this. Right, anyway, that's what it looks like, that's what it smells like. It's time to get it down the old gullet, see what it tastes like. So, bottoms up and down the hatchet. Tell you what. Now that I've got my mouthfuls, I can swirl it around a bit. Oh, the aroma comes off a lot more pungent. Okay, so what am I tasting? Right, so, definite grapefruit. The first initial smell smelled quite sort of tropical fruity but a bit sweet. This is really tart. It's really tart, it's not sweet at all. It is really juicy. You get like a grapefruit bitterness, like a tart sort of jam aftertaste when you've had a really tart jam, and the sort of aftertaste from that, and it lingers on the back of the tongue, so the bitterness rolls down the side, juiciness sort of remains in the middle of your tongue, and it sort of lingers on the back end, and the bitterness, sour, jam tart. That's really nice. I was expecting it to be a lot sweeter from the initial smell, but once you swirl it around, once you neck a bit and swirl it around, neck a bit, yeah, the sweetness really goes away. That's lovely. I do like that, I have to say. Okay, so let's see what it says on the can. Southern Summit. So it says, I'm going to have to go over this light over here, not being anti-social. So, iconic beers, iconic brewery. That's what it says for Loch Lomond Brewery. Hops with summits. So like a proper Yorkshireman there. Summit, that's the American hop. And citrus, so one of the 5C hops. Juicy citrus fruit aroma, grapefruit flavour, bitter and refreshing finish. Unfiltered for maximum flavour. Keep your drink fresh. So, I agree with everything that's said on there. I actually picked up on it as well. Yeah, it's a really bitter, sort of tarty, grapefruit, jammy tart. I want to say jam, I don't mean like strawberry jam, but you know, when you finish a jam, it's sort of tart at the end. You get rid of the sweetness and it's tart at the end. That's the sort of aftertaste you get. That's the bitter finish, but yeah, it is very grapefruity. Not sweet. From initial smell, I thought it was. It's not. Now, this appeared in the last craft beer festival that Lidl did. They do them about 3 times a year. This year, 2020. I'm at the end of 2020 when I filmed this. Might be a bit after that when I put it up on the channel. But they did them, I think, in April, May, then August, then November, end of October, November. If memory serves me right. So about 3 times a year. This has been there the last 2 times, along with a couple of other Loch Lomond Breweries beers. They seem to pick all the Scottish craft brewers. Don't know if that's because things are cheaper up north and so north of the border, I don't know. But these are available in Lidl. Apologies if I've said Aldi, I'm sure I said Lidl. Yeah, Lidl Craft Beer Festival. When the next one is, next year, 2021, go get some. I think it was about £1.59, £1.69, £1.79. It was under £2 anyway. A 440ml can. It's lovely, it's cracking, really like that. Okay, at the end of the day, that has got a big thumbs up from me. It's lovely. Go get yourself some. Cheers for tuning in. We're going to go and do another craft beer next, I think, just to continue on the craft market. Ciao for now, people. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah.